Legends, I am giving away 2 copies of Dragonflight. It is only available to NA and Oceanic users, unfortunately, no EU gifters. One winner is going to be picked from the comments section on YouTube, and the other one is going to be given away via Discord. So to give yourself the best chance, make sure you comment on the videos, make sure you come and jump in the Discord. Okay, so looking at the MDT for the upper Karazhan, I'm going to run you through today. We're going to invis this first forlorn spirit here. We're then going to tag this Infiltrator and run it all the way up to the top of the stairs. Now this Shrieking Terror is actually Zul'gamux's new location. It hasn't been updated yet. We're going to fight the Infiltrator and Zul'gamux together. Then the plan was to get into this room, and you can actually just walk in a straight line up the middle of the carpet here, and it won't pull either of these damaged golems. We actually pull one, and I'm going to show you the best strategy for fighting that, but it's not intended. We're then going to do the Abstract Nullifier here. We're then going to pull the entire room with the Infiltrator out into this room here via line of sight. If Curator's padding up and down, you can still pull. When you run out of the room, he'll just reset, so don't stress about that. We're going to finish up these. We're going to do Curator. We're going to come out of the Guardian's library. Zul'gamux isn't here anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to pull one bat. We're going to pull this Infiltrator, and we're going to pull this Infiltrator that's padding all the way down the bottom, and I'll kind of show you how that all works. We're then going to invis skip through here and skip this Flamebringer, so you can actually aggro this and walk into the tunnel, and he does despawn. However, I actually stuff up the invis and get clapped, so you can do that, but otherwise just invis past it. It's not worth killing. Then we're on to Medivh, which can be tricky, but I'll talk you through that one as well. We're going to drop down into the library floor. The aim here is to only pull 2 Infiltrators. I'm pretty sure we pull 2 bats because they run a long way. Be really careful. Get all the way over to the wall and just watch the rat pats. They have a lot of health. They're a giant pain in the ass to kill, but the goal was to just pull 2 Infiltrators. Then it's Mana Devourer. I'm going to talk to you about the corner strat for that one. Then we're into the upper library. We're going to jump into the middle. We're going to pull the entire left side of this and the Infiltrator pack at the tunnel door here. What you want to do is you want to pat all the way down here, just sort of moving as you are tanking. There's going to be orbs that are flying out from these Mana Devourers that splash damage to anyone that gets hit. You just want to have them all coming from one centralized point, so it's easier for people to move. When you get to the edge of the tunnel, just turn around, start kiting backwards when you need to. We're then going to run out onto this part here, and we're going to invis skip this whole way here. The bats won't pull if you go under them unless the tank taunts them down. You can like run up to here though before you invis. Don't think that you've got this whole stretch to make it. Then we're into the Gamesman Hall. We're going to do the chess event where the camera angles are atrocious here, and I'll talk to you about that when we're going. And then we're on to the final boss. Here we go. We're on to the final boss. I don't know what it's called. Eyeball shooty laser dude. So let's get into the run and talk you through it. So we're going to skip with invisibility pot this first spirit here, and then we're going to tag that Infiltrator and run all the way up the long ass walkway, stair, rampy things to Zul'gamux, who is up the top. Now I'm going to walk you through the Infiltrator and Zul'gamux just in case it's the first time that you've encountered either of these mobs. Infiltrator has 3 abilities: Vampiric Claws, Nightmare Cloud, and Carrion Swarm. So Vampiric Claws strikes the target inflicting shadow damage and heals for 300% of the damage dealt. It means when Vampiric Claws is coming out, you want to use some form of mitigation. AMS is fantastic for it. Otherwise, just have some defensive to mitigate the damage to reduce the healing. Nightmare Clouds are purple sleep clouds that move, just watch for these, and Carrion Swarm is a giant frontal. If anyone gets hit or whoever gets hit by that has their healing reduced by 50% for 10 seconds. Now Zul'gamux up the top here as well we're fighting is worth 3 stacks, so you get 6% of the bounty buff for killing Zul'gamux. So Zul'gamux has Shadow Claws that are empowered, and it also leaves a dot on you which inflicts shadow damage every 1 second for 12 seconds, and the effect stacks. You can dispel it though. Blood Barrier is when Zul'gamux will shield herself in a massive blood barrier, and you need to be able to damage through the barrier to be able to interrupt the healing going on Zul'gamux. She'll also do a Shadow Eruption, which is a giant purple zone around her. If anyone gets hit by that, it reduces their damage and healing received by 70%. It deals shadow damage and reduces their healing received by 70% for 10 seconds. So just make sure you move out. There's also a bat that gets summoned, and it will cast Hypnosis. You just need to make sure that you stun it, otherwise someone will get MC'd. Now, we're going to skip these 2 golems, as I said. Now, if you walk up the middle here, you can generally not pull them. Sometimes though, if you're just off center or something like that, you will end up pulling them. So you're not going to have an invis pot back up by the time you're here. So if you are unfortunate in pulling them, because everyone's in the middle here, and unfortunately, you know, stuff just happens sometimes, you might have to face these mobs. Now, there is a really easy way to fight these mobs that makes your life easy. As the tank, you're going to stand on the stairs here. Your group is going to go into this right little sort of cove off the side of the stairs. When unstable energy gets cast, you're going to move off the stairs down into here, and none of those pulls are going to come down here and affect your group. Once it's finished, back up onto the stairs you go here, and you're just going to chill. Unstable energy is going to come out again in a second, and I'm just going to move off to the edge of the stairs. No one's going to have any problems in getting hit. So unstable energy comes out again, off the edge I go. We're safe as houses. So nice little trick that you can use on the golems here if you do get sort of unfortunate in pulling them. So once that's dead, we're going to move up and onto the nullifier here. Now Demise's Unity wasn't working, so Demise died on purpose so we could go out and fix Unity. So that's a cool bug that's still going on. So we're going to pull this nullifier now. Now every 15 seconds, the Arcane Nullifier is going to debuff you as the tank with Force Blade. Protection Warriors, you can spell reflect this. Just be aware, you will take quite a bit of damage off the nullifier as, you know, a single mob kind of thing. So you can see just how hard I was getting hit there. You could elect to pull a pack onto this if you were really comfortable with it. It depends. If it was tyrannical, I would encourage pulling a pack onto it. Fortified, the higher key and things like that, just be really careful, as that Force Blade is a big 10-second debuff, and you know the mob does hit quite hard. So defensives rolling, you can sort of move if you need to and things like that if you can get some distance between it, but otherwise just make sure that you've got your CDs rolling and don't leave yourself vulnerable to this one. So we're going to kill the nullifier here. It's sanguine weak in here, so it's a little bit annoying, so trying to pull that back from the door. We're going to pull the entire room here, Curator's room. We're going to pull it all outside to here, and we're going to blast that down. We used our first hero as well on the Infiltrator and Zul'gamux, I should say. So in these packs here, there's going to be an Infiltrator, and then there's going to be Mana Confluences and Mana Gorged Worms here now. This is a pretty big pull to pull the whole room. You don't have to pull the whole room. You can split this up into two and things like that. This was just a bit of a YOLO send. So the Mana Confluences are protected by a shield, and you need to damage through the shield before you can damage them. The shield's tied to their mana pool, and they'll just repeat spam Arcane Barrage on the tank until they're The Mana Gorged Worms cast Siphon Energy, which drains mana from the Mana Confluences and reduces their shield. So when they die, they release loose mana, and mana users can run through that to get mana back. There's also the Infiltrator here as well, so we're trying to reduce the damage on those Shadow Claws, the Vampiric Claws, sorry, so he doesn't heal up as much. And then we're just watching the frontal, we're watching the Sleep Clouds, and that's about it on this one. There's not sort of too much else, but it is a fairly big pull, and, you know, yeah, you can split it up into two if that's what you're comfortable with. So then we're going to get into Curator's room. Now, Curator pats up and down this room. One thing I will mention too, and I did mention it on the MDT, if Curator's in a bad spot, you can still tag pats. Once you get outside this door, Curator will despawn. So don't feel like you have to stand there if you're waiting to pull trash and wait for the Curator. When Curator is patting, if he's up this end, just run all the way to the end and start the boss fight. There's no problems in doing that. So we're going to start now. There's two things that you can do. We're going to start down this end. There's two good ways to do Curator, I think. One is that you just have like melee stack here with the tank basically, and range and healers stack out here on green. The other way you can do it is just forming a 5-person straight line. And as the tank, it would mean that you were facing with the Curator facing this wall. Like, you want to be in line with everybody else. You wouldn't want to line here and then you as the tank to have the Curator facing like this way towards my timer, if that makes sense, because then the line will go like this kind of thing. You all want it to be in a straight line. So you can either all stack up in a straight line, and when the discharge, I think it's called discharge, power discharge, when that drops, you all just move forward. Or the other way is you've got two stack points. When power discharge drops, your two groups just move forward. All you're doing is just moving up the middle of this room, and your range group and healer are just moving up the side here. It's that simple. You'll kill it before you get to the end, basically. So 2 phases repeating Curator. It's on a fixed timer, so the phases rotate on a fixed timer. 40 seconds in this active phase we're doing right now, and 15 seconds of burn phase. Throughout the active phase, Curator's going to spawn volatile energy adds, and they'll summon volatile energy. You just need to move from that sort of stuff. These adds will target random players with arc lightning that ramps in damage, and they also leap to players' locations with static charge. You need to kill the adds. Adds are your group's priority. Always kill the lower one off. If there's one, you don't want to leave them up for long periods of time, as their damage ramps the longer they're alive, so you want to make sure you kill them. The adds will also cast static charges, as I said, which deals arcane damage to anyone within 8 yards. Curator's also going to cast Power Discharge, and this will make the lightning circles spawn below all the players that don't go away for the fight. And this is what we're having that easy strategy for, with either the line or the 2 stacking points, and we're just moving along the encounter space. For the burn phase, you can see here in Evocation, you just want to pop all your CDs, your hero, and you just want to go big mech on it. And that's pretty much it on this one. So, and then we're just going to restart. So there's the burn phase down, new add spawn. You can see power discharges coming out, all that lightning on the ground. I am just going to taunt these little adds. I'm just going to move the Curator up, and then I'm going to turn it around, form that little line again. We've got group in the middle, group off to the side. Honestly, as long as you're just dropping the power discharges behind Curator and moving up, it doesn't sort of matter what you do. They're just ideas for strats, but that is how you handle Curator. You get back into a burn phase, you kill Curator. That's pretty much it. All right, so then we're moving into this next area. Now, this was the old Zul'gamux here, this Pyromancer. What we're going to do here is I'm going to wait for this Pyromancer to move all the way over to this side here. I'm going to go taunt this bat. I'm going to run around the back of this platform here. I'm going to taunt this bat. And then we're going to go down to the Infiltrator down here. So moving around, because you can see this bat is disguised. So the bat's an Infiltrator, right? So come around here, taunt. The Infiltrator is going to drop out of there. Really watch these green circles, by the way. So this is giga unfortunate. So this Pyromancer was over here. I've taunted the Infiltrator, but by the time I've got back, the Pyromancer's come here. We don't want to pull this Pyromancer, so I'm stuck on this ledge. Now, really watch. I had no idea how much damage the green circles from the bats do, but just watch like how much damage these do. This is through like AMS, and I get like chunked a fair way. My AMS is ran out now, and then I get hit like down to 0 and proc perg. I don't think was there a might have been a Carrion Swarm that actually went off in my face there too. Just really awkward. So I AMS the pools and the vampiric claws, and then it's actually nothing. It's literally just the green pools that kill me. So those green pools really, really, really fucking hurt. So just be really careful of that. Equipooled the Pyromancer there, feigned death really quickly, so we don't worry about that. But that can get really messy, so just be really careful with that. You do need a tank though to pull the Infiltrator as the bat in the air, because you have to taunt them to come down. So we get around here, and then we're going to pull down here to this Infiltrator. There's the purple sleep clouds we're going to watch out for. Vampiric claws coming out. So we're just going to fight these 2 Infiltrators all the way down here, because the Pyromancer does pat to the very top of that part. So just be aware of that again. Pulling down here so you've got sort of room to move with your nightmare clouds as well. And the Carrion Swarm, the frontal, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to pull those 2. Like normal, and then we're going to move back up to the top here. Remember, we don't want that Pyromancer, so a nice job running into that sleep cloud, just using a little bit of Lichborn action there. I'm not going to make this without pulling the Pyromancer, so I have to chill all the way back here, and then I have to wait, because we're going to run around the outside of this when the Pyromancer goes back. So I'm going to move up here, I'm going to run around here, and then we're going to skip this Wrathguard that's down the bottom here. Now, remember what I said, you can either invis or you can all run through, and it will bug out in the tunnel. However, I do something so amazing here. You're supposed to Death's Advance first and then Invis Pot. I Invis Pot as I hit Death's Advance like an absolute champ that I am. So then I die. So then we need a mass res, so that's okay. So we get mass res, that never happened. And then we're on to Medivh. Now, Shade of Medivh can be pretty tricky if you don't have your kick sorted out. Okay, so Medivh gains mana over a 30-second window during this fight, and he casts 3 spells. Piercing Missiles is the big one that you're going to be dealing with as the tank. It's a channeled cast that deals big arcane damage to you. If the channeled is allowed to go through in its entirety, it applies a debuff on you, increasing all arcane damage you take by 20% for 20 seconds. If if the debuff's on you, you can probably take like 2 of these before you're in real trouble in going through your CD. So you can see that piercing missiles debuff that's on me at the moment for 20 seconds. If I was to cop another one, I can probably live another one, but then it kind of gets sketchy, so you do start to interrupt them towards the end, okay? Or even if one stack is too much, just interrupt it if you've got the arcane vulnerability on you. But you can see here I've got arcane vulnerability on me, and we've just taken that one too, and I managed to survive. But you are going through your cooldowns. Frostbite is the cast that is, if it's successful, it turns someone into an ice block, and the only way to break them out is to run a cast of Inferno Bolt onto them. And the ideal way to do this is just to kick every Frostbolt so nobody becomes an icy pole. Inferno Bolt will mark the target with a big red circle, and if this goes through, they have a large firebolt head towards them in that zone, and if they get hit, they get a dot applied to them. You can kick them. If you don't have a kick, you can just move out. You can see we're just moving out of the zone here. The bolt goes off, and then the harpoon to come back in. So, or the grapple, or whatever survival hunters have. Inferno bolts coming off here. So just moving out. Piercing missiles is coming out here. Now, a couple of other things that I just want to rewind as we're talking about here really quickly. Prot warriors, you can reflect arcane missiles, and it is also possible to reflect the arcane vulnerability if you manage to time the spell reflect right at the end. Once Medivh reaches full mana, though, I went back a little bit too far. Once Medivh reaches full mana, he'll cast one of his 3 Giga Chad spells. There's either Guardian's Image, Flame Wreath, or Ceaseless Winter. Now, in this one, we get Ceaseless Winter. You can't get the same spell 2 times in a row, though, okay? So I'm going to talk about Guardian's Images. There's going to be 3 spawns that go around the room, and you need to go and kill them. They cast arcane bolts at random players. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got kicks assigned to stop as many as possible. You all want to go to the same one and burst it down, and then move to the next one. Now, I'm just going to pause it here because it's full mana. Every 3 seconds, the ads will also cast Shimmer, which will hit everyone in the room, causing them to take 3% more damage from Shimmer. So this can stack up really quickly if you've got 3 ads left up. So it's important to all head to the same one, burn it down, have your kicks assigned to stop those casts from going off, and then clean up the room as quickly as you can. Flame Wreath is going to mark 2 players with rings of fire for 20 seconds. If any player moves through the ring, basically everyone dies. So you just stand still if you've got Flame Wreath on you. Now, Ceaseless Winter is an ice storm, and you need to keep moving or jumping up and down to negate the ice stacks building up. So I'm going to just press play again. I'm pretty sure we get Ceaseless Winter first. So here's Ceaseless Winter. So all you want to be doing here is just jumping up and down. You don't have to do anything else. You can just jump up and down. You can move side to side, whatever you have to do. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, Ceaseless Winter is the best one to get realistically. Because, you know, the Guardian's Images are quite difficult if you don't have any coordination, or if everyone runs off to a different Guardian to try and destroy it and things like that. So here comes the second Giga Chat ability. Remember, you can't get the same one in a row. We cop Flame Wreath here. So you can see Flame Wreath has gone out here, and just standing still. Just standing still. Easy peasy. Had to cop an Inferno Bolt there because couldn't move out. So just have to heal through it and pop a CD. Flame Wreath's about to expire in 7 seconds. So it lasts quite a long time. It's a 20-second debuff that you have to stand still for. So it can be a bit of a nightmare. But that's how you deal with Medivh. Kick order is really important. Being vocal and talking about it, bit of a nightmare in pugs. So once Medivh's dead, we're going to drop down into the library. Now, in the library here, we only wanted to pull the 2 infiltrators. Remember, I think we end up with like 2 infiltrators and 2 rats, I think. So we're dropping down into the library here. We're going to land on the books, and we're going to jump down off onto the edge. There is a rat as soon as you come down. This rat here, this rat pats very, very close to the edge. So when you're jumping down, just watch where the rat is, because the rat over here is really easy to pull. It's coming in from the right here. You can see how easy that is to pull. We're going to grab this infiltrator. Now, what we should have done is head straight over to the wall. And this is not very good on my behalf here. I didn't actually know that the rat patted this far over. So we want to skip this rat. I should have gone around the back of the book here, just to make it super, super safe. But unfortunately, we end up copying a rat here. This infiltrator over here has spawned, which is really unfortunate, and is just chilling there. Really kind of thought it would have ran over our way, but it doesn't. So we actually only get 1 rat. So 2 infiltrators here. Same goals go for the infiltrator, the vampiric claws, the carrion swarm, and the sleep clouds, just dodging out for them. And in a second, the rat, fighting them out on here is a bad idea. Should have been fighting them over here. So just kind of learn from that. I'm just going to let it play because I want to show you sort of where the rat ends up, because I thought we were safe as. And here comes this fucking rat here. So the rat came like down the back and over here. We wanted to be like well over against this wall here, so just know that for next time. If you do pull a rat, basically they have a lot of health and they take a long time to die. They do a stampede of lines of rats and there's a gap in the rats. I think you can actually jump over the rats if you're amazing, but you can see here, big line of rats, there's gaps in them. Run around the rats, run through the gaps, jump over them, don't get hit by the rats. If you do get hit by the rats, you die instantly. And the rats can also spawn on you, which happens to our healer as well, which is really unfortunate. But that's that. So I'm just going to skip through this here, and then we're going to get on to Mana Devourer. So rat, a lot of health. Pew, pew, pew. Then we're on to Mana Devourer. Now, by the way, sorry, just to harp on this, here's the boss, right? I could have been fighting the infiltrators like all the way over here, and we would never have pulled a rat. So pull the infiltrators like all the way back up here, okay? You got heaps of room. Don't stand out there where the rats are. Okay, so Mana Devourer, we're going to pull the boss into the corner, and it can be a little bit finicky, but this is the easiest way once you get it right to collect the mana orb. So Mana Devourer, you can't let the boss reach 100% mana. If you do, the boss will explode your group and one-shot everyone. So every 30 seconds, Mana Devourer is going to expel its entire mana bar. It's going to make orbs that then float back to the boss. If you have the Devourer in the corner though, all the melee orbs will just sit inside the boss's hitbox pretty much. And you can either trace around the boss's hitbox to collect them, or you can stand directly under the boss and just jump up to collect them. However, have found it to be a little bit finicky sometimes. Sometimes I wouldn't get any stacks kind of thing when I was jumping through them. Like I got 4 stacks then, when I think I should have ended up with like 6 or 7 type of deal. So just be aware of that. You want to make sure that you are getting them. The orbs, when you soak them, leave a pretty hefty sized dot on whoever soaks them. And there are these purple tornadoes, these purple voids that you can go and stand in. They are right here, down here. If you go and stand in them, you'll tick damage, but you will have a stack of the debuff removed from you for each tick. Now you can rotate cooldowns to soak all of these orbs. You can rotate things like Diffuse, AMS, Spell Warding, Cloak, Turtle, whatever you've got to be able to soak the orbs in large quantities, you want to be doing. You just don't want to let the orbs or many orbs reach their way back to Mana Devourer. That's really important. So you can't let Mana Devourer reach 100% mana again, basically. So you can see here I'm just collecting all the orbs under here, and I had a better run that one. I got 8 orbs then. And then, so I've got 8 orbs. It's quite a bit of damage, 8 orbs. I would say anything that like 7 to 8 area, you want to start going into one of the voids to drop debuffs. So I'm going to move into the purple void here, and then I'm going to drop some of my debuffs. So you can see the pool gets smaller and smaller, but I've managed to drop 2 of the debuffs there. I'm down to 5, I'm down to 4 now, and I can sit at 4 pretty comfortably. So now we need to make sure that Mana Devourer does not reach 100 mana. So Mana Devourer will keep gaining mana as this goes as well. If Mana Devourer reaches 100% mana, as I said, it will explode. Now, we didn't actually get enough orbs there, so we were absolutely going to explode on this one. We just managed to have enough DPS that it wasn't a problem when we managed to kill Mana Devourer, but you can see there 95% mana, 1 more tick of Mana Devourer's energy, and we're absolutely screwed. But we managed to do it, and we make it. So then we're going into the library. Now, the library, remember, we're going to jump into the middle. We're going to pull the whole left side. So from where we are here right now, jump into the middle. We're going to pull the whole left side, and we're going to move straight into the Infiltrator, which is out the front of the tunnel. So it's a little bit hard to see sometimes, especially if you're new in here or whatnot. Let me just come back a little bit. So here's the disguised Infiltrator here. Here's the tunnel I'm talking about. Here's the door. So you want to pull this left side, this front bit, and go into the door. Now, just a fair warning, there's a lot of damage that comes in here. I don't have Dancing Rune Weapon up, which is really unfortunate. So I would almost recommend in hindsight, what I should have done is delay this pull, like start on that left pack to farm my Dancing Rune Weapon back, and then do this pull, because at the moment I'm trying to hold aggro with no Dancing Rune Weapon. I'm trying to survive with no Dancing Rune Weapon, which is just really, really, really awkward. And I end up dying, which is, you know, that's bad, and that's on me. And like I've said in a lot of videos and things like that, if you're going into a big pull and you don't have something aware, like I should have said, like that's 100% on me. I got into that pull and I was like, oh, I don't have Dancing Rune Weapon up, herpaderp. So yeah, if you need to farm it back and wait, or you don't have Incarn as a bear or something like that and it's 40 seconds off, it's better than like dying. So here are these Devourers as well, which I was talking about, which I'm trying to get aggro back on now. They will cascade balls out that will trace their ways back to the Devourer, and they will splash damage to anyone that gets hit. So as the tank, you want to keep moving here. Now, keep in mind, you've also got the Infiltrator's Vampiric Claws to watch out for. You've got the Sleep Clouds to watch out for, and you've got the Carrion Swarm to watch out for. And you've also got Sanguine if it's this week. So lots to be aware of, but just make sure that you are constantly moving back so people know where those orbs are coming from. And what they can do is they can stay on the side of the mobs that way, not at the back where the orbs are trailing in, and they can avoid all that splash damage that's coming from those Devourers. So we managed to get through that. I think there was like, I don't know, two deaths or 3 deaths or something in that pool, probably as a result of me, realistically. But you will get that on the big games. Then we're going to head out onto this walkway, and we are going to invis skip all the way from here to chess. And then I'm going to talk to you about chess camera angles and just a whole bunch of, oh my God, business. Now, you can walk all the way up here. Remember how I said you don't have to like invis from that bottom bit and walk up? You can walk like up to here and then invis from here. So we're just going to invis all the way to the end here. Remember, going under the bats won't actually pull. You have to taunt the bats to come down. So just running all the way up here like you would expect when you are invisible. And then we're moving into, you can see I move under a bat there and nothing happens. So dropping down into the chest event here. Now, let me just go back here. Sorry. All right. So dropping down into the chess event here. Now, the chess is a pretty simple boss fight. You need to kill the king to win. However, the king has a buff called Royalty, which sees him taking 90% less damage. Now, there are 6 other pieces on the board, and when you kill one of them, the royalty buff drops off the king for 30 seconds, and you can damage. So the lowest health pieces are the knights and the rooks. So you want to focus killing the knights first, put as much damage as you can into the king. When royalty goes back, go and kill one of the other knights, unless it's in a poor position, and then you could kill a rook. But ideally, kill the 2 knights, then kill the rook. As the tank, make sure that you are always within range of the king as well. If you are not, and the king is, you know, if someone else goes within range, they will get clapped, even when royalty's up and things like that. So just make sure you are always the closest person to the king if anyone else is going in range. Now, the pieces on the chessboard move like actual modeled chess pieces, so just watch the squares that light up, and then you just need to move away. If you get hit by a square, you get 1 shot. So here's where it gets really, really fucky, okay? So Demise ends up dying, and we can't res Demise. So here's all these light up squares as well that you need to move out of. So I try to get over here on top of Demise to be able to res Demise, and nothing's working. So I couldn't battle res Demise in here at all. We were killing this knight here, but this knight ended up moving up onto this chess piece here where we could not target the knight. We couldn't hit it. We could not hit that piece. So that meant that was really annoying. So then we couldn't actually kill that, and we had to switch over to this rook over here as well. We couldn't res Demise. The way that we ended up being able to res Demise was with an engineering battle res, which, you know, is really buggy on here at the moment. That sort of is what it is. But just continue to dodge through here. When royalty comes up, make sure you get on the king. Pump as much damage into the king as you can. That is pretty much it. Just don't stand in the bad stuff. Kill the knight, kill the king. As the tank, make sure you stay in range. Now, you can see here, Equi tried to get in with Turtle to be able to do that, to try and res Demise. And what ended up happening, so here's Turtle, and ends up getting absolutely clapped by the king. So it was just kind of a test thing, but it just shows you how much damage it does. It will absolutely one-shot you, even through Turtle. So we do eventually manage to get Demise up in here, eventually, with an engineering res. This fight took so long. I want to show you guys, though, something really horrendous with the ground effects here. So Have I already been past it? Let me see. I think I have. All right, here it is here. So this bishop, right, has gone up onto these top squares. I'm telling you this because I want you to be aware of it in case you run in and get completely lost. The bishop has gone up onto the top right side here. Here's like the portal that's cut off. It's the top right side of the chessboard. If you run over here and go onto this square, you can see what happens to your camera. Like you are underground type of deal. So just in case you get disoriented and wonder what the hell's going on, if you move over there, your whole camera flips upside down. Basically, it will not upside down, but puts you underground and you can't see anything. It's very annoying. It's very frustrating. So just be aware of that. So we're going to kill the king and then we're going to move on to the final boss, Viz'aduum here. So let me just skip on out here. So you just run through the portal here, nothing special. Run all the way out into here. You get a little bit of sort of RP while the doors are opening where you can re-eat if you need well fed, and then you're on to Viz'aduum. So Viz'aduum will cast Burning Blast on the tank. It deals fire damage and applies a dot to the tank. The dot application can stack and refreshes to its full duration every time a new stack is applied, so make sure you're kicking Burning Blast. The dot can be dispelled as well, but due to the debuffs going on in phase 2 and 3, it's an unlikely occurrence that you'll even have a dispel for it, so just make sure you kick it. Protection Warriors, you can of course spell reflect the damage to avoid the dot, so just be aware of that. Viz'aduum will also do this Disintegrate as well. Facing a line, big green beam goes out. If you get hit by that, you will get knocked off, so just be aware of that. The ships above, I'm just going to pause it here too so I can cover all this. The ships above will be casting Fell Beam every 40 seconds, and this will make a green laser line chase someone, and it will leave pools on the ground, and that's what's going on up here. So your DPS will just be running those away, so just be aware of that. I've covered Disintegrate, which is that big line. If you get hit, you get knocked back, and every 30 seconds, Command Bombardment is going to happen. There's going to be green swirls that rain down from the air and stuff like that. You just need to make sure that you are dodging that as well. Lastly, there is a debuff that goes out in here, and I'm just going to rewind it so you guys can see what the debuff looks like. It's going to send out, it's called Chaotic Shadows. It goes on 1 player on the first platform, 2 players on the second platform, 3 players on the final platform. It deals shadow damage over its duration, and then when it's expired or it's expelled, 8 explosive shadow orbs spawn out of the player and shoot across the platform. So somebody should have it and runs off to the edge in a second, and you'll see all these purple orbs over here if I went back far enough, which I'm pretty sure I did. So you should be able to see it in a second. Here they come here. So these are those shadow orbs. Don't get hit by the shadow orbs is basically the big thing, and it gets really hectic on platforms 2 and 3. So Disintegrate coming out here, 66% is where Viz'aduum is going to phase, and he's going to set up a demonic portal. Just watch these green swirls that are coming out from bombardment here. So you've got 20 seconds once the portal spawns to get there, so don't think it's going to despawn on you in a hurry or anything like that. So then we're flying off to the second ship for phase 2. Now Viz'aduum's at the end of the ship here, and it's just going to repeatedly cast Disintegrate. You just need to run towards Viz'aduum. There are spaces on the side here where you are going to duck in to avoid getting hit with Disintegrate. Now it's a straight line here, so if I got hit, say here, I would just get punted backwards. You do have to be really careful though about not getting knocked off the ship. So we're just going to get up to Viz'aduum here, so everyone makes it. Burning Blast again, just making sure you're kicking this dot here. Remember, there's 2 players that are going to be copying the debuff here with the Chaotic Shadows, so just having to watch that. Now we pop Hero here on the second phase just to push this through as quick as you can. Reason being is the last phase, there's a cast that goes on that you can pretty much melt Viz'aduum down to within like 10% HP. So this is a really good platform to push through, and at 33%, Viz'aduum is going to phase. So we're moving on to the last phase now, the third ship. Viz'aduum again is up the end of the ship, but there's no dodge here or anything like that. You are going to grab all of these sentries and just run them all the way down to Viz'aduum. People are going to use these as funnel pad and just burn them down on top of Viz'aduum. Now Viz'aduum is casting Stabilize Rift, which you just want to let go all the way until the very last second and then kick the boss. So you got 30 seconds to burn the boss here, pretty much as you can before kicking. Do ensure you kick just before the cast goes off, otherwise you'll be swarmed with adds. And after kicking, you'll receive 2 adds, 2 sentries. They'll spawn every 25 seconds, so just be aware of that. You'll have 3 players being hit with the Chaotic Shadows here as well. So it's just a race to kill the boss. And that That's pretty much it. So hopefully I've covered everything off in this video. If you've got any questions for me, hit me up in the comments below. Check out the other dungeon guides on the channel. Come and join us in the Discord. I'll see you all next time. See you, fam.